Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, we are doing a Pilates Yoga Fusion for beginners. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to come down to all fours, hands and knees, and we're going to start with a nice little cat-cow. So what that is rounding your spine to the ceiling. So you start from your belly button. You gently use the muscles around your belly button and you roll up with the ribs to the ceiling. Let your head and your tailbone hang down. Once you're there, stop, take a breath in. And then the opposite is start from your navel, like there's a string attached to your navel, and you drop it down to the floor. And then the spine goes the other way. So your head and your tailbone come up. Stop and take a breath in. Repeat. Draw your abs in, push the floor away. Exhale. Hold for your inhale. Exhale, extend your spine. Once you're there, hold for your inhale. Exhale, round your spine. Inhale, hold. Exhale, extend. This time, we come back to a neutral position. So you draw your abs in and you keep a nice straight spine. We're going to go for a twist. So imagine you have a glass of water right here on your low back, or your sacrum. The back of your pelvis is called the sacrum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my fingertips on my shoulder. And I'm going to pull the left side of my spine away from the floor and then go for a little twist down under the space between the other arm and underneath the armpit. And then push the floor away. Exhale. Inhale and twist. Keep your glass of water on your sacrum. Exhale. Push the floor away. You draw your abs in and twist. And then open. Last one and rotate. All right. Keep your abs pulling in away from the floor. They're always drawing up whenever you're on your hands and knees. And then we'll do the other side. Okay. So hand goes on your shoulder. You're going to rotate your spine. Eyes follow you. Inhale. Exhale, go for a little twist. Inhale, start from the fingertips. You push the floor away. Travel up your arm, across the chest, up to the ceiling, and then back down. Again, inhale as you lift. Exhale. Down one more time. Inhale as you lift. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Good. Come into a nice little child's pose. So that is feet together, knees apart, sit back towards your heels, rest your head down. Your arms just stay in front of you. Here you take a breath in. Fill your lungs. Exhale out through your mouth. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale, exhale. And then come back up to all fours. Okay, from here, we're going to take what's called a low lunge in yoga. So we'll take one leg forward and we're going to bring our hands up onto your thigh. All right. So oftentimes it's easy to sink into the stretch like that because it feels good, but it's actually not good for us. You always want to hug your muscles to the bone. So you're drawing away from the floor, lifting up in your belly, pulling the leg muscles in and up. You can see what happens when I do that. I pull up, protecting your joints as you do your low lunge stretch. All right, so my abs are pulled in. I'm staying active in the back glute and hamstring as opposed to sinking. That is how you can hurt yourself. No sinking. Then as an option, you could also then bring your arms up high to the sky, abs in. So it's very active stretch, not just passively hanging out. Reach as tall as you can, lifting your rib cage up off of your hips. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. So bring the other leg forward. Start with whatever's touching the ground, your foot and your back shin, and then you draw up from there. Your muscles already drawing up. Gently, you can press into your thigh with your hands, but that's to help lift your chest and pull up out of the hip, right? Abs in. Always active in yoga. Only passive when you're being told, like at the end when you're resting in Shavasana. Always very active. And then bring your arms up high as an option. But again, you can see right here I'm sinking into my hip, right? That hip flexor. You've got to use the muscles in the back, your hamstring and glute. And lift up. Get as tall as you can in your arms. And then put your hands right back down. Okay. Now we're going to go into downward facing dog. Okay, for this, you want to press through your knuckles and the pads of your fingers. So all 5 knuckles and all 5 finger pads. So your weight does not go here on your wrist. Press down through all those 10 points. And then we're going to go ahead, tuck our toes. We're going to keep our knees bent here. We won't straighten them all the way. So bend the knees, lift them up, and then come up and push your hips. Push your fingertips into the ground. Push your knuckles into the ground, and then start to reach your hips back. And then from there, if you can, you start to gently straighten your knees, but only straighten them as far as you can without rounding your spine like that. And so some people might be able to get straight knees and some people might not be able to. So you just keep your abs in and then lengthen a bit more as you're here and start to stretch out. Hug your elbows in down towards the floor, like you're wrapping your upper arms in towards each other. Only straighten your legs as much as you can with active abs and a nice long flat back without collapsing your back. And then rest back down to your knees. Good. Sit back to another child's pose. This time wrap your hands around by your feet. Hang your shoulders. Fill your lungs. Good. Big inhale. Big exhale. And then stack back up. All right, going into forward fold. So this time we're going to step forward with bent knees. Now we're going to go ahead, separate the toes, spread them out, and put them down evenly onto the mat. Now you're going to root your heels down into the ground using your calves. Now use your hamstrings and pull your thigh bones up. Again, only go as far as you can without having to completely overround your back, right? This is bad. This is me hyperextending my knees. So I'm going to pull up with the hamstring muscle, scoop your abs in. Forward fold should always be space between your belly and your thigh, unless you're specifically doing a pre-stretch for the forward fold. Abs in, very active abs. Oftentimes you can hang here like this. I'm collapsed right now into my joints. I'm not supporting myself with my muscles. Doesn't feel great in my back. I have an old back injury. So that you want to avoid. Active legs, active belly. And if your hands cannot touch the ground here, then you should just prop them up on something, right? So you're not straining your low back. Okay, now from here, we'll step back into your down dog. So place one foot back and then the other. Press through the 10 points we talked about. And first, bend the knees, everybody. Get the arms hugging in, elbows towards each other. And then exhale, press your heels as far as you can. Abs in. And then slowly bring your knees back down. Onto your belly, laying on down. Okay, point your toes here. So when you're laying on your stomach, you want to keep a little bit of called an imprint, right, in your back. So you draw your hip bones towards your ribs with your abs and gently let the tailbone lengthen away from you. And then that's how you keep your abs in, like a little imprint, right? Don't clench your butt here. Just use your abs to pull your hip bones to your ribs via your obliques. That's it. Now, if you gently push your toes down to the feet, down into the ground, it helps activate the legs. See how small that is? Very small. That's to protect your low back. So we got our abs on. Now we're protecting our low back with our glutes. Bring your hands here right by your sides. Imagine there's a marble right here. With your nose, push that marble forward just to the edge of your mat and then go to the next vertebrae down. And you're going to bend that vertebrae a little. And then the next vertebrae bends. And then the next one bends a little. sequentially going down and working the muscles in your upper back. Now reverse it. So you start where just to where you lifted, you reverse, use the muscles to come back to neutral. Look at your mat. We'll do that again. So you're going to push your marble. The first vertebrae, which is between your ears, bends, and then the next vertebrae gets lifted from the muscles around it, and then the next one, and then the next one. And then we'll come back down. So we're working towards, in yoga, you call this a little cobra, and in yoga, it's a swan. So we're just going to go small today. If this is done incorrectly, it can definitely not feel great in your low back. So the abs and the glutes are super important to keep the active low back. And so maybe you're just going to come this far, right? Working your back muscles and then go back down. Everyone's different. And if you want a little bit of extra, lift up just a bit. This is how you start to really strengthen your upper back muscles, right? This is a lot of work to do correctly with the abs and glutes on, right? Maybe that's too much. So maybe you just keep the hands down. But that's what we're doing is working the upper back. We're not using our arms and cheating and pushing up like that. So working your upper back and down. Okay, push back to a child's pose stretch. Take a deep breath in and a big exhale. Whew. Let your body be heavy. Letting your bones be heavy. Then on the next exhale, you can go ahead and roll yourself back up to sitting. Okay, thank you guys for joining me today in your practice. I hope to see you next time. Thank you. Bye.